Yeah, guys. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how, these cities in America are basically on life support. And, technically, if they hadn't have brought all these people in here, the Mexicans, the Indians, and all these people, America would probably been done, because in order to uh, extort your own people, you would have to subsidize the people. Guy guy called what Net Most Wanted talks about all the time about how you know uh, I think the birth certificate or something, basically how you was sold into slavery based on documents, which really gets me because how can a document have any say over a person's soul? I don't know. Somebody needs to explain. No matter how much explanation I hear from how they put us as slavery, it's still, I mean, you still have a choice to say no. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. There's not a document in the world that can make you say yes or no to tyranny. But anyway, yeah, this thing is like on life support, and I mean, guys, every day these days, one of the things that be on my mind is like, I be wondering how in the world does this thing stay together? I mean, think about this, guys. I grew up with some people who told me that people were corrupt out here, and the very people who were telling me that people were corrupt out here were more corrupt than the corrupt people they were telling me about. I want that y'all to think about that for a minute, and what that can actually do to somebody's mind once they actually realize the carnal nature of people. And they mess it up for everybody else, because somebody like me who, you know, loves people and, want to love my wife and all that. Well, I'm going to be dealing with people who have a I'm going to have something to prove all the time because of all the malice that other entities have caused. And that's what always has me questioning. Once again, sometimes I feel like I don't know what's important anymore. You're supposed to have a covenant. Talking about God's supposed to have a covenant with the people, but you got to fight. You got to fight for your own covenant. You see what I'm saying? But there are other variables to that. I'm not gonna go there. I still believe God has a covenant with His people, but obviously the people have a choice. They have to realize they have a choice first before that covenant can even be a covenant. But yeah, I wonder. I'd be looking at this society, guys, and I'd be like, how does this thing stay together when everybody is against themselves, not only against their neighbor, but against themselves? I said to myself, you have to have some really, really control. Like, you have to have a mind control program to keep these people in line. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I always love to tell you, I know how I love always tell y'all there's no such thing as secret. It's just mind control. Because you got to really have people under control that don't even give a shit really about themselves or their neighbors. They can pretend to care about themselves and their neighbor, but they really don't. Just like, the movie Dark Knight Rises and Batman. In Joker, he broke the whole thing down basically on how people are. And whether you want to believe it's that way or not, that's the way it is. Last night I talked about, people talking about getting money. I said I am money. What I'm gonna get how I'm gonna get myself? Am I lying? How I'm gonna get myself? But yeah, I just wonder how this thing stays together, guys. But it actually is not staying together. It's unraveling as I speak. I mean, yesterday I seen more EMT than I ever seen in my life. Okay. And I'm just wondering what the hell is going on out here. I keep seeing all this EMT. Like, it's literally like I'm in a war zone. For real, guys. It's like I'm in a war zone. Now, I joked with you guys a couple of weeks ago talking about Justice is being served literally. Go watch the movie Soylent Green. Justice is being served literally. And I always talk to you guys about health and how people are really not looking so good. They're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be looking so good. And when you talk about Judgment Day and the last days, I'm not talking about stuff blowing up. I'm talking about judgment being rendered on a generation of people who don't have no morals. And you can see that right in front of your eyes if you look. I watch these channels sometime, but I can only watch so much about like what the powers that be are doing, because that's God that's allowing the powers that be to do what they do. Whether it's poisoning your air, food, or what, who you think is allowing that? You think they say this is Satan's world, but no, God is in control. Yeah. God has the final say if you say you believe in God. So you could talk about what they doing to us all you want. Couldn't God just step in and stop it all, right? If he wanted to, he could just wave his magic wand and our airs could be cleared, water be clean, right? That's why I don't get too much into what, the government is doing this and that's happening. And well, no shit, the people are unrighteous. Guys, it's a good thing that I love myself. That's all I can say. Me personally, it's a good thing I can love myself. But one thing I want to say where I want to go is one thing that really trips me out about people is that somebody can burn down your whole house. Let me try to keep this civilized. We talked about how things are precious. I see a lot of things in my, every day we see things that are precious. But somebody can destroy that. But somebody can burn down your whole house, destroy everything you work for, and there will always be somebody there talking about forgiveness. Ain't that something? Let me tell y'all something, man. Don't ever let somebody else speak about God for you. God rolls off people's tongues all day long. Just like, I love you, I'm sorry, and all that old bullshit, right? If you don't have it for yourself, man, people are just going to pull your strings, man. I don't care who manipulated me. First of all, you can't manipulate somebody that they don't even know what the hell is going on. You can't. That's not manipulation. I want to know, how did it get to that? What I'm thinking about is, how the hell did it get to that point? Who lost control in my ancestry where things can get out of control like this? Because I don't see myself losing that kind of control, having wealth for 3 generations. How am I going to lose control over that? So I got a lot of questions, and it has nothing to do with what somebody perceive or what questions I would have. I got other questions. But yeah, the society is hanging on the thread, and it can be an all-out anarchy any day, because people are selfish and they only care about themselves, and they don't love themselves. That's a dangerous society. You got to keep a people like that under mind control, or else, like, you don't have no choice but to keep a people like that under mind control. But yeah, just again, guys, just to wrap it up, it just amazed me. Like, you can do, every time you do all this damage to somebody, and it will always be somebody there talking about forgiveness. I'm being straight up honest with y'all. Forgiveness is not a part of my DNA. Logically speaking, I don't have to get emotional with you guys and come on here screaming like I'm mad. I don't have to do none of that. I could tell you straight up with a straight face, with no feeling whatsoever, that forgiveness is not in my DNA. Now, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go execute revenge on people, but if God gives me the if God tells me to, how do I want to say? I want to keep this civil. If I'm given the right to execute revenge, I'm going to execute all the revenge times 100. Forgiveness is not in my DNA when it comes to tyranny. And I'm not just talking about my own personal situation. I'm talking about me as a judge. Me hearing about other people doing stuff to other innocent people. I don't forgive that. So this is not about my personal feelings. I don't forgive tyranny. I don't forgive that. I don't give a damn. But it's just funny. Every time you can destroy somebody's whole life, and then there'll always be somebody there talking about forgiveness all the time. Isn't that strange?